Welcome to your Rocket League quarterfinals 1. We have the Yorktown Patriots taking on the Tabb Tigers, and this is an exciting start to this match.
Yeah, and we're getting right underway with this first game. Early control here for VHS, but they are going to lose a little bit of tempo as the ball makes its way back to about the middle of the field. I expect we see these teams sort of play a little bit slower, a little bit more patient early on, sort of get a feel for how each other is going to play. I'm sure they have met each other in the regular season at some point, but either way, just getting comfortable with their setup. They have, of course, been warming up. Narrow miss there from JLS. Very close redirect.
And we saw a great center there, but not quite anyone in position to make a move on it yet, though great defense coming out. We'll have to see how these teams kind of react to each other and get a feel for it because, you know, we've got a lot of opportunities here for these teams to kind of figure out how the other team moves and how they can prepare themselves.
Ooh, bit of an unlucky miss there from Frog. Those are the kinds of spots that you really need to make those contests happen. You can see very dangerous ball position for a second. They are going to clear it back up the field, but still good pressure here being applied by Yorktown.
And we see Dr. Kidney Stone come in for Yorktown to really defend there strong. Or sorry, that was Tabb. And we see an almost wide open goal there for JLS, but he's not quite able to capitalize as he hits the ball off just to the side slightly. And it looks like Tabb is going to be able to get their hands back on the ball to get it moving away from their goal. But JC coming in this time for Yorktown.
And we're playing a bit of ping pong right now, but I do expect, you know, especially as we get down to the crunch time in this match. Ooh, bit of dangerous ball position here. Gonna look for the center from Yorktown. Good clear by Shaka, though. Not gonna be anything. Ooh, that was a bit of a rough touch there. Not quite off the back, though. It looks like it is gonna be cleared out.
And neither side able to really establish a lot of control over this game yet. Ball kind of just going back and forth, as you mentioned, ping pong earlier. And we'll just have to see who's able to get the momentum in their favor and just get more attacks on goal. Because right now, neither side able to really just get the ball towards the goal all that often.
Yeah, a bit of awkward spots on Yorktown's side of the field, but they are going to get it back up towards Tabb's. Great opportunity here is going to go high, though, on the cross. No one really there to capitalize. Again, decent spot, but no one able to get up there for the tap in. And again, we're going to see probably a bit of back and forth here as the control over this tempo. Nice shot on the goal, and actually a bit of an awkward position there. That's going to result in the first goal of the game going to Tabb.
And, I mean, that's just really good gameplay. Great teamwork we see. And unfortunately, Yorktown just not able to quite get into position. We saw a bit of a close miss there up close, up front on the ball, but nothing coming in from the backfield able to stop it.
Yeah, and actually one of the Yorktown players not quite able to get up to challenge that ball, and you saw the other player, you know, just too far back to be able to clear it out. So great positioning from Tabb to net them that first goal, and expect to see them keep this pressure up. Just under 2 minutes left to go in this first map. Of course, this is a best of 5, so even if Tabb's able to secure this first game, they will need 2 more to take home the series and move on.
We see a demo coming out there by Shaka, hoping to capitalize on that power play quickly, but the ball is going to be stalling out around midfield. Nobody able to quite get an advantage off of it. But that ball comes dangerously close to the Tabb side goal. But a great defense by Dr. Kidneyston is going to prevent that from going in. And now it's moving back towards Yorktown side. And Tabb is looking at a decent center, but a great defense from Yorktown is going to stop that attack. And Dr. Kidneystone is back in the backfield to try to defend here as a shot goes just wide of his goal.
Oh, dangerous ball position. Just barely whiffed there by Yorktown. That was a really missed opportunity for them to try and even up this score.
And that would have been a huge goal to get. I mean, you had perfect positioning and just a little bit of a miss caused that to not be, of course, that tie ball as we're under a minute now. And Yorktown going to have to scramble a little bit to try to make a big play here.
Yeah, and we do see them putting on this pressure. Ball's going to bounce off the corner here, but it's going back down. Oh, nice control from Shaka. Nearly just dribbles it in. is going to get cleared out, though, and now sub 20 seconds. This is the move they have to make. JLS, a great position. No, actually lets it go, just drop down a little bit. Gonna score the game-tying goal right 15 seconds before this game one comes to a close. So we might be looking at OT here, James.
We might, and I gotta say that was fantastic play on that ball. You know, he was able to move it up and down kind of at control, and so by letting it drop there meant that Tabb was just not able to react, because if they went on a low attack, he was just going to push it high.
Oh, but disaster here for Yorktown. That hard-fought goal immediately gets erased by Shaka with a very nice tap over the top. Great ball positioning as well. That was a beautiful pass from his teammate, like beautiful positioning on the center of that ball. And yeah, it looks like that might just be it. 3 seconds now. They are going to have to attempt to keep it up. We're at 0 if it falls, and that is going to touch down. So that will be Tabb taking home game number 1.
And I got to say, great gameplay by both teams. Tabb, of course, coming out on top by just 1 goal, which, of course, was made in the last 4 seconds of this match. So, you know, this is a great opportunity, as Yorktown is still not out of this. They've got a lot of opportunities ahead of them to do well and continue.
Yeah, and I think that first game is always, you know, getting the jitters out a little bit. Obviously, they have been warming up, you know, now for a little bit, but even still, it's definitely good to sort of get a feel for how your opponent's going to play. And we saw that game was fairly even throughout. You know, definitely got very close at the end. Bit of an unfortunate, you know, goal in those final seconds. It looked like we were for sure going to overtime, but great capitalization there by Tabb. And we're already getting straight into game number 2.
And before we really get into the action, I'd like to mention that today's VHSL Esports Championships are presented by Go Army Virginia. And we see both sides really, again, with that little bit of an early fight on the game, trying to gain a bit of momentum going in off the start of this match.
Yeah, very early demo by JLS, though, so we can see Yorktown keeping the pressure up. Currently, all 3 Tabb players playing pretty defensive. Yorktown going to receive that ball, still sort of fighting for it, center position. Decent clear, but it's going to be sent right back in by Dr. Kidney. Great shot off the wall. Is anyone there from his team? No one there to capitalize, but actually they're kind of just giving it back. Shaka first to it.
This is interesting. I mean, it looks like Yorktown might just not be communicating as well as Tabb. You know, they've looked maybe a little bit of communication on that play.
And again, dangerous field position, just barely saved by JLS, or sorry, by Dr. Kidneystone. Great shot into goal, but I think that might have actually been a bit of miscommunication there on the boost. It looked like they were, we had a couple players sort of strangled out by the fact that they were out of fuel, not able to, you know, challenge some of those balls. That's why we saw that awkward positioning. Very close save by JC.
And it looks like Tabb is just going to keep up this pressure, keeping the ball towards the Yorktown goal. And eventually one of those shots is going to go in. I mean, they've done a very good job. They've had a couple very close shots, and now a very dangerous ball coming in from Yorktown to try to push it in onto the Tabb goal. Both sides playing a bit more aggressively than last round, hopefully because they know a bit more of the other's tempo and style. And we'll see how that affects on this second game.
Yeah, and that was definitely a great opportunity for Yorktown to get the early lead, but just, again, no one there to capitalize on that dangerous ball position.
We see Shaka with another great positioning, but Midnight is there, and he just stops the ball outside of the goal. And we see Frog trying to push the ball forward for Shaka, but Midnight, again, with a very close save.
Yeah, and play's not dead yet. The boost was missed, just narrowly hitting the top left corner of the goal. Kidneystone with a great shot onto goal, just not quite able to get it in the back of the net. But Shaka, again, he's just great centers out of him so far in this series. We are seeing quite a bit of missed opportunities here from both teams, but especially with how, you know, I mean, look at these great ball positions. Again, another whiffed, you know, clear there from Yorktown. Tabb really need, I mean, they can play patiently. You know, they're in control for sure right now of this game, but really need to be looking for, yeah, and there it is. Shaka's going to finally get it into the back of the net, and again, Tabb with the first goal of the game.
Yeah, and that's just how you want to play it. You know, get that aggressive start, be able to get the momentum. And then when you just keep getting shots on target, eventually one goes in, and now you're up 1-0 with less than 2 minutes remaining. Yorktown in a bit more precarious situation. They're going to have to play more aggressively, which is kind of how we're seeing them start here. But Tabb able to gain control of the ball again is going to push it up towards the Yorktown goal one more time.
And I honestly, I still think we're seeing pretty defensive play out of Yorktown. They don't look too comfortable about, you know, who their player in the back is, and you know, we're not seeing too many forward players. Okay, it looks like Midnight going to maybe look, but now just 2 players in the back. Shaka again, great just touch overall. I mean, he's just basically, you know, doing it single-handedly here in terms of these goals. Just beautiful touch. Just gonna
and just a little bit of action there, and shove it right into that back corner. You know, because he saw the defense was up close, and just all it needed was that tiny bit of a touch to get it in the right positioning, and that was just phenomenal play. Yeah.
Good patience, though, by Midnight. He's going to take it down, look for an opportunity here to center it up, but now, again, Yorktown on the defensive. Actually, yeah, it looks like they are going to just back up here in JLS. Very awkward there. That could have been...
It could have been very bad if that ball had just died out a little bit faster and not gained the altitude that it did. And, of course, this game is a little bit finicky. There's a lot of physics on the ball in Rocket League. So sometimes you feel like maybe it's a great shot and it just doesn't go in. And sometimes you feel like you took a really bad shot and it just curls at the right moment and brings itself directly into that goal.
Yeah.
So it's something you got to be a little bit more careful about.
It's a nice idea by Midnight, and just so many... They're trying to keep it right in front of the goal here. Now it looks like a bit of a scramble off the off the crossbar. Narrowly missing here. And this is a bit of heartbreak for Yorktown. They need to try and get one now, so they still have enough time to make another play to push us to OT. Otherwise, we will be looking at a match point here for Tabb. Oh, and another great shot from Shaka. That was just beautiful, man. That out of all the ones that he's hit so far, look at the patience here as well. Demo comes in, but JC actually with the assist on that. And again, just the challenge not there.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, that's one of the penalties of playing a little bit more aggressively in those last seconds is Yorktown did find themselves caught out a little bit. They were definitely not in the right positioning on the field to play that defense, but I give them credit. Playing aggressively in those last seconds was what you needed if you wanted to tie this up. I mean, losing by 3 goals is essentially the same as losing by 2.
Yeah.
But, so great play by Yorktown. Just unfortunately didn't work out in their favor on this second map. But again, if they reverse sweep here, they still could win this matchup and move on.
Yeah, and I think the main issue we're seeing right now at Yorktown is like when they're on the, on the more defensive, we're seeing all 3 players in the back in front of the goal trying to defend. And then when they're on the offense, we see no one in the back, ready to recover and send the ball back upfield if it gets cleared out. And I think that's just where the issues are coming in for them. They're having a hard time, once they get control, to keep control. We might see a very aggressive burst out of them where they have the ball in front of the goal for, a couple seconds. But then as soon as Tabb gets back that control, they just seem to hold on to it for so long before, Yorktown gets another opportunity. And we're jumping right into game 3, and it is match point for Tabb. So Yorktown on the back foot here. They're going to need to show something impressive to keep this game alive.
And they absolutely can. I mean, they've just got to work on that communication a little bit, work on their how they handle their defense. They've blocked a lot of great shots on their goal. And I've done a fantastic job of doing it, but the problem is they've sacrificed their attack in the process, and they haven't been able to get an offensive kind of ball rolling against Tabb. And just a great shot, but just not able to find the goal as Shaka was there.
Yeah. And that was a bit awkward as well from Frog. Shaka's just so patient as well, like with his play. If you watched on that save that he just had, taking his time, looking for where, he's playing chess here, right? He's waiting for, where the ball's going next. He's not, just chasing it around. And, that's definitely the makings of a great player, thinking 2 steps ahead on these plays.
And we see Shaka again. I mean, we just can't not mention him as he sets up another... kind of stops the beginning of a Yorktown offensive and starts to set up his own team. But just not able to find their way to the goal quite yet as Yorktown starts their own offensive.
Yeah, and that was a bit unfortunate. JC just barely running out of boost on that aerial. He's looking to try and get it a little more centered for his team to maybe capitalize, but not quite able to get there. And again, dangerous position here. Shaka's going to look for the shot. Beautiful. Again, just always in the right position. And I mean, this is what this is the Tabb team. They've got it all figured out. Their composition is working perfectly. They have Shaka in the back, and he's always ready to follow up on these shots. At the beginning, looked like, it's taking a little bit for them to sort of get it going, get in the groove. But now that they've found this groove, I mean, it is just looking like they're just going to take it away 3-0 here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just a testament to how this team's working together. You've got great setups by his teammates, and that just allows Shaka to capitalize. But again, ultimately, he is making such phenomenal plays. Like on that last goal of his, one of the big things that he did was he pushed the ball to the opposite side that the Yorktown players were going. They didn't have anybody set up in the event of a reverse, and so he just hits it to that opposite corner, and he's able to score a goal.
Another great opportunity there was challenged, though, by Yorktown, so they are going to deflect it for now. It is important to note, Tabb's only one goal on the board right now. Yorktown still with an opportunity here to bring it back in this game.
And again, it looks like Tabb is setting themselves up with a very strong offense, and that is going to be a goal this time for Frog Trash, as he's able to take a great shot with a setup by Dr. Kidneyston. And again, we're just seeing is he's going for that opposite corner.
Yeah.
We saw two of the Yorktown players come in, and just a little bit of miscommunication is they did not set themselves up. They were essentially in the same spot, and that meant that they weren't covering as much of the goal as they could have been.
Yeah, both fully committed, across the goal. They're expecting that. Oh, and that was, again, very narrow miss from Frog again. But yeah, just both hard committing, expecting the ball to go in that left corner, and nope, we see the other player from Tabb just come across, beautiful shot into the right corner. Both of the players from Yorktown just not in a great position, and again, that's just an easy one.
And Dr. Kidneyston scores this time to give all three players a goal in this match.
And I mean, yeah, just a beautiful dribble from Shaka right over the player, just caught flat-footed there in center field, and I mean, it's just, yeah, an absolute masterclass from these Tabb players, and there's not really much else to say about it. You cannot play with the ball right in front of your goal and not expect a shot to go in.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem is the more that your opponents score, kind of the worse you're starting to feel. You're going to play a little bit worse. You're going to start doing some aggressive moves that are going to put you in a bad spot defensively. And it starts to fall apart, so you've got to really shift that momentum,
And that's just going to be a goal. I don't think anyone can even get back in time yet.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's what we were talking. Just what you were saying, James. They leave themselves open to a counterplay like that. But I think at this point, if you're Yorktown, you got to go all in.
Oh yeah, all in.
This is you're down 0-4. You need 4 goals now to take us to OT, and you have a minute 40 to do it. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but with how Tabb's been playing, it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, you've really just got to neutralize. You've got to kind of neutralize their mid control. They've done a great job. Is whenever the ball hits that mid line, we see them pick it up so easily and redirect it. And that stops any Yorktown offensive from coming in. Like, we'll see JC kind of setting himself up, but Dr. Kidneyston in that backfield immediately moves to the gain control, and they have it.
Yeah, and that's where, another spot where Tabb's really shining is when Shaka goes for these aggressive looks, right? They have Dr. Kidneyston to fall back and take over his spot where he's normally playing to pick up anything. And, that is a goal for Yorktown. That will be their second of the series. So that is good. That is going to help them get a little bit of this momentum going now for them in this third game. But they need 3 more. Minute to go.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully you could just pull out those Tabb players and just get yourself in a better position, get yourself with the ball towards their goal instead of yours, and set yourselves up. But we're seeing again is Tabb coming out very aggressively, getting the ball in front of the Yorktown goal, and almost a great shot on goal, but JLS is there to stop it as Frog Trash sets himself up to try to give another goal to his team with less than a minute remaining. And Dr. Kidneyston looking to center right here. Shaka not quite in position yet, but I don't think Tabb really minds as long as this clock is ticking down, they're feeling more and more confident. And Shaka with a great aerial to move the ball back towards the Yorktown side.
Yeah, and again, right in front of the goal, man. I mean, Yorktown needs to stop playing with it back here. They need to push it up the field, try and make something happen. But again, just always a Tabb player in position to respond. Nearly able to just stuff it in there, but not quite. Looks like it is. Yeah, but Shaka with a little backup going to clear it out. Is in a decent spot, though, for Yorktown. But you can see Shaka eyeing up the ball, seeing where it's going to go. Great clear from him.
And 5 seconds remaining. This is pretty much impossible for Yorktown to finish off. But They've gotta want to get that last goal, but they're not quite able to as Tabb finishes this out with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and I mean, each game, Tabb's looking more and more comfortable, right? I think this is definitely, a show of their strength in this tournament. I mean, I expect them to, do great as well moving forward. And, it was definitely a pretty even on that first game as we were, both teams were sort of finding their stride, but definitely Tabb pulling ahead after that first game, really taking over. So great stuff out of both teams, honestly, but definitely, Tabb looking like the better team today.
Yeah, I mean, Tabb, of course, they figured out kind of their strategy early on and were able to capitalize on it consistently. And unfortunately, Yorktown just not quite able to figure out their rhythm, get into their groove, and figure out how they wanted to play this. And it looks like it's apparently best of 7 instead of best of 5 as we originally believed. That's our apologies. So it looks like Yorktown is still in this, and Tabb is going to have to fight at least one more game.
Yeah. So Yorktown's still alive, actually. Or they do have one more opportunity to start turning it around. But again, just with how hot these Tabb players have been looking, we saw, a 4-1 victory in the previous game. And each game it's been more and more, of a differential in the score. So I think it's definitely going to be difficult here for Yorktown. But they do have an opportunity. And again, a bit awkward there on the clear. JC going to do his best. Send the ball upfield.
And we're going to see Shaka again just gaining control of that ball at around the midfield point, which is going to push that ball back towards the Yorktown goal. Though Yorktown starting their own offensive, but Frog Trash is there to break it up. JLS in the backfield, not quite able to gain control.
And those whiffs are the spots where, yes, in that case, right, we didn't see Tabb punish, but we've seen them punish so many times before on those misses. And I honestly think that, Yorktown... And a great shot by Shaka, barely saved. But again, we see 2 players from Yorktown scrambling for it. So now the pressure is just going to be reapplied here by Tabb. They're not going to let up with 2 players scrambling to try and deflect that ball. They are at least able to get it back down now towards Tabb's goal line.
And Midnight moving the ball in a great forward motion, but no one there on his team to gain control of it. And that's going to give it right back to Tabb. And we see again Shaka just coming in with the ball. And he's going to be moving it downfield. And his team is just set up in position to assist him when the ball gets knocked free.
Yeah, we are seeing Yorktown at least going for a little bit. They're contesting, I feel like, a bit better in this game. 2 minutes down and no goals quite yet. Very dangerous there for both teams. Actually, a bit of a whiff from Dr. Yeah, and that's going to be a goal from JC. Very unexpected, but, hey, you'll take it.
Yeah, and I mean, that, again, could swap your momentum over as maybe Tabb starts to play a little bit sloppier now as they're worried because this is, I believe, the first time that Tabb has trailed in this series.
Yeah, I believe you're correct, James. But I honestly don't think they're too worried about it. I think that was just a miscommunication on the play. Again, we see 3 Tabb players up, no one there in the back to follow up in case something like that happens. That's why... that's one of the ways in which we've seen Yorktown struggle as well, is just missing a player back there. We see they're able to capitalize on Tabb's mistake. And that's a great goal for them to find, but they're going to need some more to really get this momentum going because, of course, if they do win this game, they've got to, if they're going for the reverse sweep, they're going to have to get 3 more back-to-back.
Which is, of course, entirely possible. If they're able to kind of figure out how to take down this Tabb team, they can start that reverse sweep, but again, it will be difficult. Tabb has been doing a great job, and again, Tabb's starting to keep this ball on the Yorktown side of the field, so that is just going to make it harder and harder for Yorktown to make a play as Shaka was just past their goal. If Shaka had been a little bit further out, he would have scored it.
What a save from JLS.
I could have sworn that one was in.
Yeah, it looked like he deflected it on the line there, coming out from inside the goal.
And we're going to see the ball back in a dangerous position for Yorktown as JC this time with a great corner protection.
Yeah, but he's going to get demoed, and I think the pressure's going to be kept up here by Tabb. Bit awkward there on the midline, but... Oh, another whiff. That's going to be redirected towards the goal. Very scary. Still scary here. Another near miss. Midnight just barely able to get a touch on it to deflect it, but again, still... Pressure being kept up by Tabb. It is going to be cleared here, but yeah, we see Dr. Kidney Stone in a great position. Centered again. Tries to follow up on his own, center, but not quite able to get the touch he wants.
And Yorktown might just be playing for time right now. Is they've really got to work and just keep this clock rolling and keep Tabb from scoring again. If they're able to keep Tabb from scoring, this could be a very interesting kind of change to the game.
I think really though in this game you really want to try and have at minimum a 2-goal lead. So I think I do expect them to continue to try and at least get one more here before they're feeling more comfortable. Because in this game, even with 0 seconds on the clock, a goal can happen, and you really don't want to push it to OT when you've had control, for the majority of this game.
And a very risky move almost forces an own goal there. And again, I mean, scoring a goal here would be fantastic for Yorktown. It's just such a difficult thing to do right now. And they don't want to play too aggressively and give up their 1-0 advantage. As the clock is now under 5 seconds, they're going to be looking to ground this ball. And it's still in the air as it heads towards their own goal. And it's not touched the ground yet. Both teams just fighting over it. And it is going to hit the ground. And that is going to give Yorktown their first win of this series.
Yeah, and that's great for them, honestly. That means, they've got the momentum now. Only able to take that game away 1-0, but either way, a win is a win. And now that they've got one on the board, they can continue to try and get these back. They are going to need 3 in a row, though, for the reverse sweep, but anything is possible. Yeah. And we were definitely seeing some weakness out of the Tabb team in that previous game.
And I mean, it also gives you that little bit of confidence going in. You're saying, okay, we've won one, we can keep going. And you can set yourself in the mind as, hey, we're at a 1-0 right now. Doesn't matter how many games they won, 1-0. And that's the mindset you got to be in sometimes, and it'll get you great places as we see a bit more of an aggressive start this time from Yorktown.
Yeah, early demo from JLS. Unfortunately, ball not in a great position to capitalize, but they are going to send it down the field. Have it in front of Tabb's goal right now, but again, just no player from Yorktown in the center to capitalize on that cross. Frog now pushing it up the field. JC attempting to clear, but not getting a lot of power behind that ball. Okay, Midnight with the follow-up. And another demo. Now the ball in a great position to capitalize. Attempting to center, but didn't get quite enough air on that ball, I feel like. Not really going to be able to find much with a low ball in that scenario with 2 players ready.
And that's unfortunate. I really like their setup. They had JC at exactly midfield. If they could have gotten that center, he would have been in a fantastic position to just boot that into the goal and get themselves an early 1-0 lead again.
Yeah.
But JLS aerialing to keep that ball towards the Tabb side, though it looks like Frog Trash is going to push the ball forward. And Midnight moving the ball downfield this time. And it looks like he might have that Tabb defense beat out a little bit, but Dr. Kidneyston is there to break it up.
And we can see the adaptation from Yorktown as well. You saw even with how good that play was looking, JLS still in the back there, ready to receive that ball for when it got cleared. That could have been a goal again from Dr. Kidneystone from full field pretty much if he had not been there to intercept. So I'm liking the way that Yorktown's looking. It looks like they're here to play. They're warmed up now, and this is definitely quite a good series, but a great shot on goal. And I'm not sure what happened there. Looked like, okay, so 2 players kind of fumbling, and JLS just caught out of position, not ready for the save. And again, we just see a bit of scrambling here, which is a bit unfortunate. You really should not have 2 players, in that kind of position trying to challenge. Let them take it up, get ready for the clear. Oh, a good shot on goal, but not a lot of power and, kind of low center. Really not much going to happen there. Midnight JS gets the demo, but again, on the defensive right now, so they shouldn't be able to really find anything with that demo. Decent center, but I don't think... Oh, actually, Midnight gets it past the first defender.
Can set up. JC not quite able to punch it in, as Dr. Kidneyston is right there.
And Yorktown just with demo after demo here. They are really keeping the pressure applied on Tabb.
And I mean, that's definitely something that can play a huge role if they're able to consistently get these demos as they score one in to tie it up. JC just finding all of Tabb out of position with a great kind of cut there into that corner shot.
Yeah, and that was beautiful positioning from JC. The patience as well. That's looking kind of like what we were seeing from Shaka in that game 2 and game 3 as well. In the perfect spot. You don't need much, man, for that redirect. You saw he didn't even need to put a lot of power behind it, just being in the right spot at the right time. Beautiful placement. And that's going to tie us up. I really feel like Yorktown can keep the series alive. You know, they're playing much, much better.
And I mean, again, that's sometimes it's just that little bit of confidence boost you need.
Yeah.
You know, you just need that one goal sometimes in Rocket League to get the whole thing going. It's a really interesting game in that aspect. And again, we're seeing a lot of fight over that mid control. Whoever's able to get kind of control of the ball around the midfield is going to have a much better job. JLS with a very, very close save there. As we see Frog Trash trying to set up JLS again, trying to clear it. And Midnight moving the ball downfield as Dr. Kidneyston moves to defense for Tabb. And Midnight just not able to find a setup as JLS moves in. And Frog Trash trying to clear it out. But not a whole lot of play coming out. Just a little bit of ping-ponging again.
Yep.
As they try to establish control. And Dr. Kidneyston with a shot right across the front of that goal, but no one there to punch it in for them as the goal was wide open. JC setting himself up to clear.
Yeah, that's a hard one to set up for as Tabb. You probably don't expect it to, you know, for the ball to go right across the center there. And even if you do, the force at which it did, you know, it's really, really hard to try and get someone in there just to tap it in. But
and with 1 minute remaining, both teams tied. This could be an intense overtime matchup as we see JLS with a huge block.
Yeah.
As they almost made me eat my words.
Yeah, that was definitely very scary. JLS attempting to just sort of drop it into the goal. That is awkward from JC. Real opportunity here now.
And Dr. Kidneyston moving into position, but it did not look like his teammates were quite up front yet. Though Shaka moving the ball in with 30 seconds remaining. Midnight on a great defensive move to put the ball away from their own goal as JLS and Midnight get in position. And Frog Trash whiffing in the aerial a bit as Shaka moves up, and that goal is almost wide open. But the defense coming out in just the right time.
Oh, nice center, actually. Oh, and the ball is almost on target. I feel like if that could have been with a better touch, a goal for sure. Again, great save
and
from Dr. Kidneyston. And it looks like this ball is going to be dead, so we are going to OT in this game number 5.
And this is getting even more exciting as Yorktown really reaches their stride here as they set themselves up. Shaka with a huge defense, but JC is there. Shaka moving himself into a great position to force that ball forward again, even after JC's fantastic touch. And we see Dr. Kidneyston trying to center the ball for his teammate, but Midnight coming in with the defense as he pushes the ball downfield. Nothing quite able to come out of it as they're not able to set up fully yet. And Frog Trash being right there is going to break up the attack that was coming in. And we see JLS moving to counter Shaka's advance. And Midnight pushing the ball forward. Shaka with a great shot, but JC and JLS are there. But again, a little bit of grouping by this Yorktown team could leave them exposed. And of course, this is kind of a sudden death moment. You've got to score here. Somebody has to. And and it's JLS actually is able to score for Yorktown off of a demolition.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a fantastic game for Yorktown.
Yeah.
They bring this up
They're
to
making the run, man. They're making the run.
Only down by 1 game right now.
Yeah.
It's exactly the position you want to be in. This is the start of a great reverse sweep. Though, of course, you're always on that risk of being eliminated in this situation. You know, Tabb just needs to get their act together for one more game where Yorktown has to just be dominant on the next 2.
Yeah, and I think definitely the name of the game here for Yorktown is converting this pressure that they're applying on Tabb, especially with these demos. You see them going for them a lot. And even if it doesn't always convert into a score, you know, constantly keeping that up, almost a very early goal from Frog. I'm shocked that didn't go in. That would have been quite a way to start off this 6th game.
And we're seeing both teams again fighting to try to gain control. Tabb playing this time a little bit more aggressively than they were in the last 2 as they start to try to keep that ball towards the Yorktown goal. Great centering effort by Frog, but no one there to capitalize off it. Dr. Kidneyston in the backfield, but not able to get a goal quite yet as he makes a shot. Shaka with a fantastic punch, but JLS in defense. And that ball is going to be moving towards the...
wow.
What a play by JLS.
JLS just beat 2 defenders. Watch how he moves it past. Great move from the first. He just delays and then just incredible control. And you can see he has really found his stride in this series. Just incredible play out of JLS. And this might be, you know, that I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling the game 7. This is getting exciting. Yorktown looking a lot better, you know, much more poised here to push us to that, you know, that final game.
I'll tell you, I have no idea how they chose which games we were going to be casting, but I'm glad they chose this one. This is getting more intense by the minute, and it's only going to be getting better as we get closer. And we see a great defense coming out by Yorktown as they try to keep that ball away from their goal, though Tabb able to keep a bit of control on the ball towards the Yorktown side.
Yeah. And I like that we're seeing better patience here out of Yorktown. They're not just chasing the ball anymore like we saw in those first couple of games. Their communication has been improved quite a bit. Great center from JLS. Not quite anyone there. And actually, quick demo from Frogs might be the opportunity now for Tabb to start get some pressure back. But of course, with that respawn, the clear going to be sent right back on this Tabb side of the field, and Yorktown keeping this pressure up very well. Again, JLS there for the challenge, and he's going to take his time as well. I like that. Good challenge, though, on the ball from Tabb. And we might just, see a bit of back and forth here from these two teams. And honestly, if you're Yorktown, you're not too concerned with that. You're fine to take your time here.
Just don't let them keep getting those easy shots on goal. That's, the biggest thing you can do right now is if you can keep that ball towards the midfield, if you can keep it away from your own goal, you're setting yourself up in a much better position. And, of course, they've got the talent. They've got the ability to beat Tabb here. And Dr. Kidneyston is just going to catch them out and score a goal off of it to tie this game up.
Yeah, and again, we've seen this awkward. Actually, that was from Frog, I believe. It's a little confusing because of his decal on his car, but that was just a great assist from Frog as well into the center. Perfect positioning. You have to imagine that they're going to be able to capitalize on a ball like that. And again, already Tabb send it down the field very quickly.
And we're going to see Yorktown with what was a great setup, and Dr. Kidneyston in defense is going to block what was a fantastic shot on goal there from a team that's really, stepping up their attack. And we see, I believe there was Shaka with a great defense. Dr. Kidneyston getting demolished right in his own goal as Yorktown tried to set up an offense, but he's going to be back in this game quickly, and that's going to mean that attack is not going to happen with that advantage, but that's okay. Yorktown moving the ball back down the field as Tabb plays some more defense and starts to get a little bit more aggressive again to try to move that ball forward. Shaka with a great centering is going to be trying to do it all himself, though, as I believe that was JC moved forward on the defense.
And I like this dribble by JLS. Right over the top. Dangerous spot for the ball to be. Is going to get cleared by Frog. But even still, ball down on this Tabb side of the field. Yorktown keeping this pressure up.
Well, I'll tell you, as Yorktown, you've got to feel very confident once that ball's in the air. They've been doing a great job of aerials on these last two games. So if they can keep that ball in the air towards the Tabb side, that's going to help them on these goals. And we see
beats him
exactly. Great aerial positioning, puts the ball up, beats him in, and then is just able to blast it into the goal once he is free of that defender.
And the patience, man, again, this is what we're seeing. We've seen the game being slowed down here on these offenses by Yorktown, and it is definitely benefiting them a lot. They're taking their time with these moves, and, instead of just chasing the ball and hitting it as hard as they can in the direction their car's going, they're playing smart, man. And that wasn't, we've been talking about how JLS really been the star for Yorktown, bringing them back in it, but that was JC with that, or sorry, not JC, that was that Midnight with the... No, I thought it was JC. Maybe there's just a scoreboard not reflecting properly. I'm pretty sure it was JC. That was the one that scored that goal. And again, just a beautiful patience from him on that play. Midnight with a shot. And again, follow-up. Blocked by Kidneyston both times.
And
but a still dangerous spot for the ball to be.
And the good news is Yorktown's doing a great job of setting themselves up on the rebound. It's one thing to take a shot on goal, and it's another to be able to get that immediate shot right after that. Because let's say you miss on that first one and they overcommitted on that defense. Well, you're in position, you move in on that second shot, and you're in a much better position. So if they're able to keep setting themselves up in position, they're going to be doing a great job.
Yeah, and it feels like the action's been nonstop this game. We're already down to the final 5 seconds, and as it ticks down, you have to imagine Yorktown's going to be good. Dr. Kidneyson's going to keep it alive for a little bit longer.
As Tabb is just trying to keep that ball in the air as time has expired. And they're going to be in position, but not quite able to keep it up as Yorktown pulls away another game win.
Yeah, and it's now possible for this reverse sweep. Both teams even 3-3. And, you know, I was not expecting it to go this way. Tabb getting the first 3 games in fairly dominant fashion. We did see a pretty close first set, but, you know, I was expecting that. Yeah. First game. And now, you know, all of a sudden, Yorktown, 3 back-to-back victories. We're going to Game 7. This is the one that decides it all. And, you know, obviously, it's single elimination here. So whoever, you know, wins this is going to continue. Whoever doesn't is done.
And this could be a huge upset. Yorktown comes in at the number 7 seed to this tournament, with Tabb coming in as the 2nd seed. So this is a opportunity for Yorktown to really pull off a huge upset and maybe start a Cinderella run towards that championship.
Yeah, and already starting off very aggressive. Still keeping JLS in the back, though. I like that. I like that they weren't getting, you know, overly aggressive here. Shaka, though, dangerous spot for the ball to be. Centers it up over the top.
And I gotta say, speaking of Shaka, one of the things that I think Yorktown has really done a good job of, and it's made a huge difference, is they've kind of disrupted Shaka's rhythm.
Yeah.
Is they've kind of prevented that positioning from going in. Shaka is a great shooter, but he needs his positioning from his teammates for the vast majority of his shots, and they've just been disrupting that, you know? And we saw just there, Shaka was setting himself up, and we saw, I believe it was Midnight, came in and just knocked the ball to the side a little bit, get him off his rhythm, get him off his groove, and he's just not quite able to be as dominant as he was in those first 3.
Oh, I thought that was a great look from him, but yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, you know, Shock was capitalizing a lot on the mispositioning from York, and they're not giving him those easy goals anymore. They're making him work for every single one, and all of a sudden, actually JLS, bit of a mishap, but it works out in his favor for a little bit. Looks like we might just be a little bit back and forth. Good center from Shaka, though. Right in front of the goal is the ball. No one there from Tabb to capitalize.
And we see Dr. Kidneyston trying to set himself up, but JLS in position. Shaka this time on the right side, moving it forward.
Oh, that's a bit awkward. You can actually see all 3 players from Tabb on that right-hand side for a second there. And now it's going to be a bit awkward to get back.
And neither side able to really gain a huge advantage, though Tabb has been able to keep the ball mostly towards that Yorktown side. And it's just both teams putting all in this matchup. You know, because again, this is everything here. This determines who goes home after this round. And Midnight with a great goal. And there were 2 Tabb players there that he was just able to outmaneuver a little bit, get a little bit of motion on that ball. And you see, they weren't expecting to quite bounce as high as it did, and that ultimately cost them.
Self-assist there, actually. Obviously, JC with the assist over the top, but that was just off the initial challenge. And we see off the top, you know, over the crossbar and then back to himself for that tap in. And Kidneyston just not quite able to get enough height to deflect it out. So Yorktown take the early lead here. Or, well, not early. We're halfway done already with this game. These Rocket League matches are just so incredibly fast-paced. You forget how quick they're over. And yeah, if Yorktown can hold this lead, I mean, we might be looking at the reverse sweep. Very narrow save there from Midnight. That was a huge, very, very important save from him. Still a bit of a dangerous spot. Nice deflection from JLS, though. I like that a lot. You know, I bet Shaka was ready to just smack that ball, you know, prior to that deflection. Still, great spot in the middle. Frog a little bit too low for the ball. He gets underneath it a little bit. You want to try and slam it down, you know, on that center, but still plays, you know, the play is still very much alive here for Tabb, keeping the pressure up on Yorktown's side of the field.
And we see Shaka with a bit of a setup and just barely deflected by JC there by that shot by Frog. And I'll tell you, one of the things I wish that we had in this game was heart rate monitors on all the players, because I bet you they'd be going a million miles a minute during this matchup. It's just non-stop. Both teams playing phenomenal with remarkable saves, remarkable shots on goal, and just absolute insanity.
Yeah, but actually that's a big error from Yorktown. We saw them. I'm not sure what was happening. We saw a double demo from JLS there, and it actually punished them because the players spawned out for for Tabb, and that gave them decent positioning on that center. We saw all 3 players from Yorktown on that right side of the field, no one in the center to deflect and or to block the goal, and that's going to even it up now. Still anyone's game. Minute to go on the clock. Minute 15 to go on the clock.
In Game 7, tie game. This is, tie game, tie scores. This is everything you're looking for in some Rocket League excitement. And, we see Tabb trying to gain the advantage with 1 minute remaining, but Yorktown able to push the ball forward, though Tabb in a great position, but Midnight sweeping across the field is going to break that up as they send the ball down towards Dr. Kidneyston, who whiffs a little bit, though Frog Trash coming in to move the ball forward. And we see Yorktown just trying to set themselves up for a goal as Shaka tries to disrupt that. And this has been so back and forth in these last couple of games. This is absolute insanity as, we see a great shot by JC, and he tries to self-assist, but JLS is there almost able to get the shot on goal, but nothing from it. As we see the rest of Tabb moving up to try to clear that ball free as we're under 20 seconds now. JC with a great shot forward, and it is just high, but it was fantastic. And if it had been a tiny bit lower, that would have been a guaranteed goal.
Oh, and a whiff. That's going to be the goal. No way. This is how it's going to end. A whiffed challenge there from Midnight. Or no, sorry, not from Midnight, from JLS. And that's going to give Frog the open shot on the goal. And that might just be it. 7 seconds for Yorktown to tie it up.
That's a difficult spot to be in. You've got so much you've got to do in 7 seconds. You've got to set yourself up and start that aggression. And we see Tabb starting an early move as it's down to 1 second, and they're going to score a goal to end it.
Yep, and that's going to secure the game.
And what a hammer by Shaka. And that's devastating. What could have been a huge reverse sweep. I know Yorktown has got to be hurting, but the thing is, they played so phenomenally that you almost want to go up to them and say, hey, you lost, but that was a fantastic match, and I'd want to watch that any day of the week again.
Absolutely. I think that's about as much as you can ask for in a Rocket League series. We almost saw the reverse sweep. Yorktown even getting the early lead in that game, but Tabb had a little bit of fight left in them to secure those final 2 goals. And yeah, I mean, that's just, oh man, that's got to be heartbreaking though for Yorktown, especially in the fashion that they lost, so even all the way through, once they found their footing in that Game 4 and they were just running with it, the momentum's in their favor, and they were doing well as well in that final game. Yeah, it was 1-1, towards the end there, but just, the whiffed challenge there, right in front of the goal. And then, even if, that third goal didn't come in from Tabb, I had a feeling that, they had it locked up after that one, after that second goal, 7 seconds before the game ended, and just heartbreak there for Yorktown. But great game out of both teams, honestly, and we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing Tabb move on in the bracket. But for now, I think that's it.
I do have some quick words from the presenting sponsor, the Go Army. Go Army Virginia is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Virginia's Esports Championships. They would like to congratulate all of the competitors on a great season and wish them luck during today's games. Did you know new recruits can now get up to upgraded enlistment bonuses to join the U.S. Army? For information on the U.S. Army's new enlistment incentives, including cash bonuses, 2-year enlistments, and your choice of duty station, text VHSL 22 to Go Army or 462-769. That's all we have for now on Rocket League, but be sure to stay tuned because this is only going to get more exciting as we move closer and closer to the finals on both Rocket League, Super Smash Bros., and League of Legends, all coming up later today. As always, I'm James Doherty.
And I'm Jeremy Iber. Thank you for tuning in for this Rocket League match, and stay tuned because we've got more gameplay coming right up.